College Press Box.
Men's basketball rolling and are delivering a strong statement.
Plus, the snow day in Austin might have kept the swim team out of the pool, but nothing could stop the Texas tennis teams from victory.
All this and more coming up on College Press Box.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of College Press Box. I'm your host, Lauren Barish, and with me tonight is Jorge Guerra. Jorge, it's the Monday of Super Bowl weekend. How are you feeling?
I'm excited for the weekend, but I'm more excited to be here on the show tonight. A team that started with no expectations after a losing season last year for the first time in 15 years is giving the Big 12 plenty to think about. Coming off a win at home against Iowa State, who at the time were ranked 8th, Texas hosted yet another ranked opponent, Kansas State, who are ranked 22nd, and delivered a thriller. Let's take it out to the Frank Erwin Center for the highlights. Here you have Rick Barnes walking into the Frank Erwin Center. In the first half with 15 minutes to go, DeMarcus Holland dishes it out to Javon Felix, and he hits the three, and it's good, 10-8. First half with 8:52 to go, Martez Walker gets a hand on the ball, strips it, runs the lanes. Javon Felix with the assist, Martez Walker with the two, putting up Texas 16-14. Here you go, Prince Ebay posting up really well. DeMarcus Holland dishes it for the good dunk by Prince Ebay, putting up Texas up by 1. Javon Felix for a three, it's good, putting up Texas 21-19. Here you go, DeMarcus Croker dishes it to DeMarcus Croker with that alley-oop assist with DeMarcus Holland. In the second half, Martez Walker gets the rebound and puts up the missed layup by DeMarcus Holland. Texas up 44-39. 58 seconds left to go. Javon Felix with a three, and it's good, putting up Texas by 4. But here, tied at the end, Jonathan Holmes hits the buzzer beater, putting up Texas 67-64 for the win against Kansas State. Our very own Tierra Newbon was at the game with more.
After a Big 12 win for Texas, Coach Rick Barnes and the players are still focused on improving their offensive execution.
You got to, you're going to miss some shots, but you got to shoot it. And again, that's what we talked about. We've got to shoot open shots. And as you go back again to the Iowa State game, our bad possessions were where we turned down open shots when we were running our offense and we weren't ready to shoot it.
When we get in those long possessions, we got to capitalize with the rebound, and that's something we have to work on. And that's what we're taking from this game, just what we can get better on, which is definitely on the glass and boxing out.
Jonathan Holmes was clutch tonight for Texas, beating 22-ranked Kansas State with a three-point buzzer beater. Coach Rick Barnes said that he's never lacked confidence in this team, but that his expectations may be higher than theirs are.
It's exciting to get a W. I mean, it's hard to get wins in Big 12 play, and just get a win against a team like Kansas State is just big for us as a team.
Well, I can only tell you what I told our guys: we're capable of beating anybody we play, if we understand what we have to do that.
This coach tells us when we step on the court, we should feel like we can beat anybody and play with anybody. We definitely feel like that because we work very hard during the week and in practice.
The Longhorns are working towards the NCAA tournament, but conference play will be their focus for now.
I told our guys it's simple. I said, you guys figure this out. There's 6 teams in the Big 12 ranked in the top 25, and we're not one of them. So if you don't think this one's important, you better think long and hard about it.
But right now we put ourselves in the position to control our own destiny, and so, we're taking it one game at a time. Like I said, we're playing a really good Baylor team on Saturday, so that's what our focus is on right now.
Tierra Newbaum, College Press Box.
With a 4-game win streak in the books and 2 of those coming against ranked opponents, Texas wasn't finished making a name for themselves. Traveling to Waco to face a dwindling 24th-ranked Baylor team who entering the game have lost 3 straight, Texas was looking to make it 4 straight losses. Isaiah Taylor made sure that was the case. Let's take it out to the Ferrell Center for the highlights. Horns visiting the Bears in the Ferrell Center. Late in the first, Isaiah Taylor drives and dishes it to Prince Ibeh for the emphatic dunk. Texas takes the 1-point lead, but then Brady Hislop gets the assist from Gary Franklin, 4-2. Texas still up by 1. Final seconds of the first half, Yancey gets stuck, but Martez Walker gets the baseline drift, puts up the bucket, 31-27 into the half. But then Isaiah Taylor, with his speed and his skills, drives to the basket, gets the 2-point layup. Horns up 37-29. But then here's defense. Let's take a look at that again. Cameron Ridley with the block. And then on the other side, on the offense, 4-2, putting up Texas 41-33. And then Taylor once again with an acrobatic layup and 1. And then Texas starts to pull away. Felix with the 2. Texas wins 74-60. This is Barnes, and the Horns win their 3rd straight against a top 25 team.
So it's no secret Texas is on a hot streak. Like you said, 5 straight wins, 3 of them against top 25 teams. What are they doing? How are they having the success?
Well, after the Baylor game, Rick Barnes said it all himself. The Baylor game, the chemistry the team is building up and showing has really taken them this far. The team is constructed of 14 players, and 12 of those individuals are freshmen and sophomores in the leadership of Jonathan Holmes, who's a junior, and his experience on the court really feeds off to his teammates.
Now, people weren't expecting the Longhorns to do this well. The Texas lost a lot of players in the offseason due to transferring the NBA draft. What new players or stars do you think are emerging to give them this success?
Well, last year was a very hectic season for Rick Barnes and the Texas Longhorns, but they lost a lot of players. Mike Kabongo to the NBA draft. They lost Sheldon McClellan and Julian Lewis and Jalen Bond, who all would have been juniors this season. So they lost a lot of players, 2 transfers and 1 player to the NBA draft. But this year, I feel like there is no stars. It's really a team concept, team format. There is no there is no stars. So it's all about teamwork. And I feel like that's what's the reason why they're at where they are.
And another thing that was under question coming into the season was Rick Barnes. He was definitely on the hot seat coming in, especially with the movement of DeLoss Dodds. How do you think things will end for Rick Barnes this season, and how much do you think his role as coach has played into this season's success?
Well, definitely. He was definitely on the hot seat last season with the team struggling, not making the tournament in the Mike Kabongo situation with the NCAA, but it was pretty hectic for the season overall for Barnes. But this season, it has been complete reversal for the Longhorns and Barnes. I see Rick Barnes remain the head coach of the program because of the Barnes and his staff should be given the majority of the credit for the performances Longhorns have had so far this season because of how young they are, and I think he's going to be pretty safe for this year.
All right, so the Longhorns went from a losing season to now this morning being named number 25 in the AP polls. What do they need to do to stay in the rankings and stay ranked?
Well, I think they got to keep playing like they're not a ranked team. It's nice of them to be ranked, but I feel like they should just go into every game like they're not ranked and prepare every game like they're 0-0. The next game is versus a very young, talented Kansas Jayhawks team. They have to approach this as a win-or-go-home tournament game. So they have to believe that they're not ranked and they have to earn that position to be ranked. And although they are ranked, they should go into every game like it's win-or-go-home.
I definitely agree. Coming up next, we will take a break from the men of the 40 Acres and talk about this past week for the women's basketball team. Stay tuned, it's College Press Box.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Although the men's basketball team proved that they could tough it out on the road, the women's basketball team suffered their 4th away game loss in Fort Worth last Sunday. Texas started the game with a 3-pointer by sophomore Empress Davenport to give the Horns their only lead of the first half. After that, the Longhorns were held scoreless for the next 5 minutes and 29 seconds, which eventually sent the team into the locker room down by 12 at the half. After the break, Texas came out strong with an 11-0 run to cut TCU's lead to 1. Texas was led by sophomore Brady Sanders with 9 points, including 3 3-pointers, and sophomore Imani McGee-Stafford with 9 points and 7 rebounds. Both teams traded baskets and free throws, but in the end, the Longhorns were not able to overcome 26 turnovers, and they fell to the Horned Frogs for the first time in team history, with the final score of TCU 54, Texas 48.
Following the tough loss to TCU, the women's basketball team returned back to the Frank Erwin Center, where they are 9-1 to host number 18 West Virginia for a rematch. Nneka Enemkpali came out focused and performed big at crucial moments and led the team to a win and improved their home record to 10-1. Let's take it to the Frank Irwin Center for the highlights. The Longhorns enter the game 3-3 in Big 12, facing number 18 West Virginia, and it starts off poorly. Chastity Fusel's pass is stolen. West Virginia goes up easily, 4-3. Tied 12-12 now. Nakia Jones tries the jump shot, misses, but fights hard, is aggressive, and gets her own rebound. Texas up 14-12. Now 7:05 left in the first half. A pass to wide open Chastity Fusel, who gets the three. Texas up 25-21. Now Nakia Jones gets the early entry pass from Rodrigo and makes a nice bucket. Texas going up 40-33 in the half, where a fan tries to make a basket from a recliner chair, but misses. And 17:26 left in the second half. Davenport hits a nice jump shot to cut West Virginia's lead to 1. Still early in the first half, Fusel passes to a wide open Kelsey Lang, who puts it up for 2. Less than 3 minutes left in the second half. Davenport drives in the lane. No good, but Nneka Enapali gets the rebound. Texas up 65-62. 11 seconds left. West Virginia needs the three to tie. They miss, try to get the rebound, miss again. Texas gets the rebound, holds on to the ball, passes it up the court, and holds on to the lead, beating West Virginia 66-63. Texas is now 4-3 in Big 12 play. TSTV's own Alex Wilkins was there at Frank Irwin Center with the package.
Texas women's basketball took on the 18th ranked West Virginia team at home this past Saturday. After losing to the Mountaineers just 2 weeks earlier, the Horns came onto the court looking to settle the score. Sophomore guard Brady Sanders said the players used that previous loss as motivation.
I made sure that I was mentally and physically ready for the whole 40 minutes this game, but not just me. I think the whole team took that loss very personally, and we wanted to definitely make a change this game.
Usual starting center Amani McGee Stafford was benched the entire game for an unknown coach's decision. To compensate for that gap, Brady Sanders, freshman Nakia Jones, and junior Nneka Enapali stepped up as the team's leading scorers, but looked a bit shaky at the beginning. Some of Texas's struggles in the first half could be accredited to Nneka Enapali's slow start, but she picked it up in the second half, and according to West Virginia's coach, Mike Carey, played as one of the toughest players in the Big 12, adding 15 points and 21 rebounds.
I just felt like, the ball's not going to go in every single night, and I had to do whatever it was that I know that I can bring to the team, and I know that I can bring energy, I know I can play with effort, and that's just what I tried to do.
The Horns are now 4-3 in conference play and will play at Kansas this Tuesday. Alex Wilkins, College Press Box.
So, Jorge, the women's team has shown that they can play hard at home and get some crucial wins at the Frank Irwin Center, but they've struggled on the road. Why do you think this struggle is happening?
Well, if you look at the past 4 away games, the ladies have played against 2 ranked teams, number 3 Tennessee, who they lost to 61-75, and the number 11 ranked Oklahoma State, and then followed 2 more losses to TCU and a West Virginia team who should have been ranked. And each game, besides the Tennessee game, was lost by 7 points. And these games have been close, but they haven't been disasters. They just couldn't find a way to close out the games.
All right, and now with that win, Texas is 4th in Big 12 behind Baylor, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia. Do you think that they can come in out with the top? They have 11 games left, and 6 of them are on the road.
Yeah, 6 of them are on the road. That's going to be pretty tough. I don't believe they will end up at the top of the division in the Big 12. Right now, they are in 4th, and I see them staying or moving up 1 spot or dropping down 1 spot. With Baylor and Oklahoma State and ISU, Iowa State University in the mix, I see the Longhorns shifting spots between the 4th and the 5th place in the Big 12.
All right, I think that's fair. After the break, we swing into men's and women's tennis, plus give you an update on former Longhorn Jordan Spieth's career in the PGA. Stay tuned, it's College Press Box. Welcome back to College Press Box. This past Friday, the men's and women's swimming and diving teams were supposed to face TCU in Austin, but the meet was canceled due to inclement weather. But while the swimmers struggled to stay warm in Austin, the men's tennis team scored their 4th consecutive shutout victory with a 4-0 win over number 15 Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee on Saturday. The team has not lost a point in all 4 dual match victories this season. Texas narrowly earned the doubles point as all 3 doubles matches went to a tiebreaker. After David Holliner and Nick Nauman lost on the number 2 line, Soren Hess Olesen and Lloyd Glasspool defeated second-ranked Gonzalez Austin and Ryan Lippman 6-5 on the number 1 line. George Goldoff and Jacoby Lewis clinched the doubles point for Texas with the win over Vandy's Surish Eswaran and Chris Yee.
Following the win against Vanderbilt in Nashville, the men continued their win streak, improving to 5-0 on the season against Wake Forest at the ITA Kickoff Championship match on Sunday. Eyes turned to the number 6 singles position as junior Clement Holmes took on Wake Forest Oz Laribi. Laribi won the first set 6-2 before Holmes even matched with a 6-4 second set win. In the third and deciding set, Laribi took on an early lead 5-2, but Holmes rallied to win a third set tiebreaker and clinched a 4-3 team win for Texas. With the win, Texas improves to 5-0 and earns an automatic berth in the ITA Indoor National Championship starting February 14th in Houston, Texas. Number 17, Texas opened the 2014 dual match season against UTSA on Wednesday at the Pennick Allison Tennis Center in Austin, Texas. The Longhorns won the doubles points and 5 of 6 singles matches on its way to a 6-1 season opening over UTSA. Freshman Pippa Horn of England added a 6-4, 6-0 win over the Roadrunners' Hallgren at 5th singles. Senior Juliana Gajic closed out the scoring for Texas with a 6-2, 6-3 win over Irene Gonzalez at 6th singles.
On Saturday, the women's tennis team dropped the doubles point but produced 4 singles wins, giving the team a 4-1 win over number 23 Auburn. The Longhorns led off the doubles sessions with a 6-3 win from Ratnika Batra and Lena Paggi-Jimite at the 3rd position. But Auburn took the remaining matches to claim the doubles point and a 1-0 lead. Texas responded and took the first sets at all 6 singles positions. The Longhorns claimed 4 singles decisions to close out their 4-1 win. Leading the singles matches were sophomore All-American Brianna Addison and senior Elizabeth Begley. Addison took down Auburn's 12th-ranked Playin Bergmans and won by a 6-0, 6-2 count at first singles. And Begley registered a 6-2, 6-3 win over Paula Demand to give Texas the lead for good.
The day after, number 17 Texas hosted the Rice Owls and overpowered the match in doubles and claimed 3 of 4 single decisions on its way to a 4-1 win over the visiting Owls. Texas won all 3 doubles matches to win the doubles point and assume a 1-0 lead. UT's Ratnik Batra and Lena Paggi-Jimite led with a convincing 6-1 win at third doubles over the Owls, Allison Ho and Solo Zinka. UT won the National ITA Kickoff Weekend event and earned an automatic berth into the ITA National Team Indoor Championship at the University of Virginia. The women host Stanford on Friday and look to improve their record to 4-0.
And while current Longhorns were swinging their tennis rackets, former Longhorn Jordan Spieth was swinging his golf clubs at the Farmers Insurance Open this past weekend in La Jolla, California. The PGA rookie played his first 2 rounds with Tiger Woods and found himself only 10 under, just 9 shots clear of the 7-time champ after a birdie-filled second round. Spieth made 4 birdies on his first 9 holes and followed that up with 5 more on the back. But in the last 2 days, Spieth finished with a combined +6. Spieth tied for 19th at the end and ended the tournament at -4. Up next, we will discuss the recent coaching changes made by new head coach Charlie Strong and tell you what games to look out for this week in Longhorn sports. Stick with us. It's College Press Box.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Head football coach Charlie Strong announces newly hired staff for the football program. Lauren, who do you think of the new coaches is going to have the biggest impact, besides Charlie Strong, of course?
I think the biggest impact for the Longhorns is going to be defensive coordinator Vance Bedford. He has followed Strong from Florida and Louisville. They have a lot of experience together, unlike Greg Robinson and Mac Brown did, and I think that's going to be really important. And when Bedford was at Louisville, he completely revamped their defense, and he sent the Cardinals to #1 in total defense for the 2013 season in the NCAA. Another thing that Bedford brings is that he's a Texas ex. He played defensive back in his years of football at Texas, and I think this will very much help with Texas's recruiting. How about you? Who do you think is going to be a big impact for the Longhorns?
I agree with you on all cylinders, but looking down this list, I will have to go with Chris Rumph, the assistant head coach for defensive and defensive line. Chris Rumph of Alabama. Rumph was at Alabama 3 seasons after coaching 2 years at Clemson. In 2011, the Crimson Tide ranked number 1 in the country against the run. He's also been instrumental in developing of several former defensive linemen and current NFL players, including the Seattle Seahawks, Jesse Williams. So Rumph is the highly credited for the bolstering Alabama's rush defense, so I would have to give it to him for the most impactful coach.
Definitely have to agree. Let's look at what's going on this week for the Longhorns as they take on a couple games. On Tuesday, women's basketball will be playing at Kansas, 7 p.m., which you can find on ESPN3. On Friday and Saturday, track and field has 2 meets. One is the Razorback Team Invitational, and the other is the Bill Bergen Invitational. And also on Friday and Saturday, men's and women's swimming and diving teams will be at Arizona.
On Friday, January 31st, women tennis faces off against Stanford at 2:30 p.m. And then Saturday, February 1st, we have quite a bit going on, but the biggie is men's basketball versus number 6 Kansas at 3 p.m. on ESPN, along with the rest of the sporting events, men's tennis versus Alabama at 12, the baseball alumni game at 12 p.m., and women's basketball at Baylor at 6:30 at Fox Sports Southwest.
All right, make sure to look out for those games. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in to College Press Box. You can follow us on Twitter at College Press Box and catch us every Monday night right here on TSTV at 9:30. And for some of the best sports debate on the 40 acres, tune in to College Crossfire Wednesday nights at 9:30. And you can follow them as well on Twitter at College Xfire. For everyone in the studio and in Master Control, and for Jorge Guerra, I'm Lauren Barish. Good night.